When was the last time you stopped in front of the mirror and questioned whether you are truly living the life you desire? I'm not referring to the life that others expect from you, nor to the one that seems right according to societal standards. I'm talking about the life that genuinely connects with your deepest essence, the one your soul longs for. Carl Jung, one of the most influential thinkers in modern psychology, left us a message that few dare to follow: the importance of choosing ourselves, even when everything around us seems to push us in the opposite direction. We find ourselves in a world that, almost without us realizing it, is designed to keep us distracted. We are caught up in routines, external expectations, and a constant flow of responsibilities that seem impossible to evade. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning, external demands start making noise: work, family, obligations, social norms. Everything seems to dictate how we should behave, what we should achieve, what goals we should pursue, and even how success should look for it to be valid. Amidst this whirlwind of demands, few take the time to listen to a truth that, although uncomfortable, is essential. Every time you put the needs of others above your own, unwittingly, you are sending a message to your inner self. That message says you don't matter, that your desires, your needs, and your truths take a back seat. You ignore that subtle and persistent voice that arises from the depths of your being, the one that guides you, even though sometimes you drown it out with external noise. It is crucial, amidst this chaos, to listen to that inner voice that invites you to connect with what you truly are and desire. By doing so, you can begin to make decisions that not only reflect external expectations, but resonate with the most authentic part of yourself. Living a life true to your own desires is not always easy, but it is the only way to find true inner peace and a sense of fulfillment. Only then will we be able to build a life that, although different from others, will be the one we have truly chosen for ourselves. Carl Jung maintained that our connection with the unconscious is not an option, but a fundamental part of our nature. However, on many occasions, people choose to silence this connection. They push it away, minimize it, and prefer to ignore the signals from their unconscious because facing them can be uncomfortable or even terrifying. That feeling of discomfort you experience when something in your life doesn't fit or doesn't feel right is not a coincidence. It is the voice of your soul trying to communicate to you that something within you needs to change, even though the very idea of change may frighten you. Now, take a moment and reflect deeply. How many of the decisions you have made in the past few days came from an authentic place, from your inner truth, and how many were motivated by fear? Fear of disappointing others, fear of stepping outside what is normal, fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think of you. Fear can be a great motivator, but also a great break. Jung invites us to question this deeply, because he understood a fundamental and universal truth. Decisions that are not based on our internal truth only lead to chaos and disconnection. As we move away from who we truly are, the more lost we feel. It is a void that cannot be filled by anything or anyone, because it is not something external that is lacking, but the connection with our own essence. Now, it is important to clarify something essential. Choosing yourself does not mean rejecting others or living selfishly. It is not about shutting yourself off and forgetting about the world. Choosing yourself is, in fact, an act of love towards yourself and towards others. It is understanding that in order to give your best to the world, you first need to be at peace with yourself. This is the basic principle of self-love, a concept that Jung explored deeply throughout his life. Self-love is not a luxury or an excuse to escape responsibilities. It is the foundation upon which all true and meaningful relationships are built. When you decide to prioritize yourself and live in alignment with your essence, something deep and powerful happens in your life. Your energy changes, and as a result, you begin to attract people and situations that are in tune with your true nature. It's as if the universe starts to respond to your decision to live in authenticity, removing what no longer serves you and bringing what you truly need for your growth. However, to reach this state of authenticity and inner peace, it is first necessary to confront our shadows, those parts of ourselves that we have ignored, repressed, or feared. Jung defined the shadow as that hidden part of our psyche which contains everything we would prefer not to see about ourselves. Facing it can be painful, uncomfortable, and even terrifying, but it is in this process of confrontation where true transformation begins. Because when we accept our shadows and stop fighting against them, we unlock an inner power that, until then, was unknown to us. This process of integration is not instantaneous. It does not happen overnight. It requires courage, time, patience, and a constant commitment to self-knowledge. But what we gain in return is invaluable. Clarity to see beyond the illusions we once believed in, a renewed purpose, a sense of direction, and deep meaning in life. Inner peace, a calm so solid that no external chaos can disturb it. The ability to say no to what does not resonate with you, without guilt or fear, without worrying about what others think of you. And above all, the freedom to be who you truly are, without masks or pretensions. In the end, choosing yourself is an act of courage and authenticity. It is a journey that will lead you to a fuller life, more aligned with who you really are. And on that journey, you will discover that true self-love is the key to creating deeper relationships, to living more freely, and to being at peace with life as it is. You may be wondering, where do I start this journey towards my true self? The answer is simpler than you might think. Start by listening to yourself. Whenever you experience discomfort, uncertainty, or a wave of emotion that confuses you, pause. Don't just move on. Stop and ask yourself, what is my unconscious trying to communicate to me right now? Because, as Carl Jung taught us, the answers you seek outside of yourself are already within you. You just need to gather the courage to listen to that inner voice and the determination to act accordingly. One of the most challenging things we face in life is listening to our intuition, especially when that inner voice guides us towards a path that questions everything we have built so far. It may be a relationship that, deep down, you know no longer works. Perhaps it is a job that drains you but that you don't know how to leave. Or a dream you have been pursuing for a long time because at some point it seemed to be the right thing. Jung reminds us that ignoring these signals is not an act of strength, but a denial of our deepest essence. Choosing oneself means having the courage to let go of what no longer resonates with you, what no longer serves you. And although this can be painful, it is not impossible. We cling to the known, even if it does not do us good, because change frightens us. We convince ourselves that it is better to stay in the bad we know than to face the unknown. But Jung challenges us to see change not as an end, but as an open door, an opportunity to access a more authentic version of ourselves. So, ask yourself, what things or people are you holding on to in your life out of fear? What relationships, beliefs, or habits are you clinging to just because it feels more comfortable, even though they do not benefit you? You may feel that letting go of certain situations or people would be an irreparable loss. But the true loss occurs when you sacrifice your inner peace just to hold on to what no longer makes sense in your life. Choose wisely, because the decision will always be yours. Perhaps the most important question you can ask yourself right now is, am I really ready to choose myself? Choosing yourself does not mean being selfish. It is not about putting your needs above those of others thoughtlessly. Rather, it is an act of deep love and respect for who you truly are. It is understanding that, in order to offer the best of yourself to the world, you must first be at peace with yourself. For too long, society has conditioned us to think that prioritizing ourselves is a negative thing, as if putting our needs and desires first were a way of betraying those around us. But the truth is exactly the opposite. When you finally make the conscious decision to choose yourself, something extraordinary begins to happen. It is as if a dense fog that had obscured your vision lifts, and you can finally see things clearly. The people who truly support and value you stay by your side, while those who only drained your energy, those who did not truly appreciate you, begin to disappear. This is not a mere accident, nor a coincidence. It is the direct reflection of an internal transformation that has occurred within you. Jung called it synchronicity, a mysterious yet profound connection between your thoughts, emotions, and the circumstances that begin to materialize in your life. When you align with your truth, the universe responds to that authenticity and begins to change your environment to reflect that transformation. Your external world, so to speak, adjusts and reshapes to match the new version of yourself. Ultimately, choosing yourself is an act of courage that not only transforms your life, but also that of those around you. Authenticity has an unstoppable power, and when you decide to live according to it, everything starts to align. Effortlessly, without struggle, everything begins to flow in the right direction. The true magic lies in being true to yourself and allowing the universe to respond to that authenticity. This process of authenticity demands something that many find truly difficult: radical honesty with yourself. Choosing yourself doesn't just mean making brave decisions or setting firm boundaries. Sometimes it requires the courage to look back and acknowledge those uncomfortable truths about your own past. Perhaps, at some point, you made choices that did not reflect your true self. Maybe you allowed others to overstep your boundaries, sacrificing your well-being just to please them. You may have said yes to things that, deep down, you knew you should have rejected, simply out of fear of disappointing others. But here's something fundamental. This is not the time to judge or punish yourself, but an opportunity to learn, a moment to recalibrate and decide differently in the future. Jung maintained that authenticity is not a destination that is definitively reached, but a continuous journey. It is a process of evolution, learning, and growth that never ends. On this path to your most authentic self, you will inevitably face resistance. There will be moments of doubt, days when old habits try to drag you back, times when the familiar seduces you and invites you to return to patterns that feel comfortable, even if they are not the best for you. But remember something important. True growth only occurs outside your comfort zone. The most significant transformations take place when you dare to step out of the known and plunge into the unknown, even if it is frightening. The world will not always understand why you choose to be true to yourself. There will be people who criticize you, who question your decisions, even those who will distance themselves because you no longer meet their expectations. Yes, this can hurt, because when you choose yourself, you stop depending on external validation and begin to realize something profoundly liberating. Your worth is not determined by what others think of you, but by what you think and feel about yourself. This does not mean you should isolate yourself or disconnect from the people around you, quite the opposite. By choosing yourself, your relationships transform in surprising and enriching ways. You no longer seek the approval of others, now you seek genuine and deep connections. You leave behind superficial interactions and begin to value those relationships that truly nourish your soul. And in this process, you discover a beautiful truth. The people who are aligned with your true self will always be there, not because they need you, but because they value you for who you are, not for what they expect from you. As you begin to live from a place of authenticity, the world around you also starts to transform. This change is not the result of a magic trick or some sort of inexplicable phenomenon. It is the powerful interaction between your inner world and your outer world. Jung often spoke about how our psyche projects our inner state onto the outer world. If you are in conflict with yourself, you are likely to attract conflict in your environment. If you reject yourself, external rejection will also manifest. But when you choose yourself, when you accept and embrace every part of who you are, you will start to see how the people and circumstances around you also begin to change in harmony with your internal transformation. This process of transformation does not happen overnight. It is a journey that requires patience, persistence, and a constant commitment. There will be days when you feel like you are taking steps backward, moments when old tendencies resurface, trying to take control once again. But the true test lies in your ability to stand firm in your decision to choose yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable or lonely. We live in a society that glorifies sacrifice, but at what cost? Not everyone will support your decision to prioritize yourself. In a world that extols the idea of giving everything for others, even at the expense of your own well-being, it is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that sacrifice is noble. But what happens when we keep pouring from an empty cup? What happens when we give so much that we lose ourselves in the process? Sacrifice cannot be the only path, because in the end, when you completely empty yourself, what remains is the feeling of having lost your own essence. If you do not take care of yourself first, if you do not choose yourself, how can you offer the best of yourself to others? Only through self-love and respect for yourself can you truly be present for others without losing yourself in the process. Choosing yourself is not a selfish act, but something essential for your well-being. Only when you feel whole, when you are truly aligned with your own truth, can you offer the best of yourself to others, from a place of abundance and energy, rather than one of exhaustion. It is not just about making a choice in key moments, but doing so every day, in the small, everyday decisions. By daring to choose yourself constantly, you will begin to notice how your life transforms in ways you never imagined. This change may not be immediate, but with each step towards your authenticity, you will see that everything in your life starts to align better with who you truly are. Jung taught us a powerful lesson. We cannot give what we do not have. If you constantly sacrifice your happiness, your inner peace, or your energy in order to please others, what you offer is not genuine. Sooner or later, that imbalance will inevitably manifest in your life, whether as emotional exhaustion, dissatisfaction, or a deep sense of emptiness. It is crucial to understand that giving from an empty place only drains you further, and in the end, what you offer does not reflect your true self. It is important to take a moment to reflect on your current relationships. Which of them inspire you, uplift you, and bring you peace? And which leave you exhausted, confused, or emotionally empty? Jung invites us to look at our relationships as mirrors that reflect our internal state. The people we have close to us are reflections of the beliefs, values, and emotional patterns that reside within us. If you notice that certain people repeatedly cross your boundaries, it is not necessarily out of malice, but because inside you there are still parts that have not learned to defend themselves or to establish their own boundaries. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-love and self-care. Jung believed that the unconscious is constantly trying to guide us toward our well-being, but most of the time we do not listen to those signals. That feeling of exhaustion you experience after being with certain people is not a coincidence. It is a signal from your unconscious warning you that that relationship is not aligned with your true essence. Ignoring these signals will always come at a cost, your inner peace. The disconnection from your own being accumulates, and in the end, the price to pay is too high. Choosing yourself involves setting boundaries, but not as barriers that push people away, rather as bridges that open the way to healthier and more authentic relationships. When you say no to what no longer serves you, you are simultaneously saying yes to your truth, to your dreams, and to your well-being. This does not mean you should cut all ties, but rather that it is about being honest with yourself about which relationships enrich you and which drain you. As you start to live from a place of authenticity, something wonderful happens. Your intuition strengthens. That inner voice, which may have seemed weak or uncertain before, begins to guide you with greater clarity. You start to make decisions not only based on logic, but also on a deep feeling that comes from the center of your being. This is the power of choosing yourself. It reconnects you with your intuition, with that internal compass that has always been present, waiting for you to trust it. And when you do, decisions seem to arise more fluidly and aligned with what you truly need and desire. Jung described intuition as one of the purest forms of connection with the unconscious. It is that inexplicable knowing, that visceral feeling in your stomach when something feels right, or when something does not. But to hear it clearly, you need to silence the noise of the outside world. This involves freeing yourself from the constant need for validation, shedding the social expectations that have been imposed on you, and learning to trust yourself. At the end of the day, only you have direct access to what is best for you, because no one else can truly know what your soul needs. When you learn to listen to and follow that inner voice, the outside world begins to reflect the decisions you make from your deepest truth. Choosing yourself is an act of great power. The moment you decide to honor your truth, you are sending a clear message to the universe. I am ready to live according to my deepest essence. And when you make this commitment to yourself, something wonderful happens. The universe begins to respond. Suddenly, without you realizing it, you start attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that are in tune with who you really are. This does not mean that life will always be easy or that you won't face challenges, but these obstacles will no longer seem like a constant struggle. Instead of being an endless battle, they become opportunities to grow, learn, and discover more about yourself. By choosing to live authentically, you are not only changing the way you interact with the world, but you also begin to experience what Jung described as synchronicity. Those seemingly random moments when everything fits perfectly are not coincidences. They are direct manifestations of your internal alignment with your purpose. When you are in harmony with yourself, the outside world begins to move in your favor. The doors that once seemed closed now open effortlessly. The right people enter your life just when you need them, and circumstances start to flow in ways that once seemed impossible. This is the true power of embracing your authenticity. By honoring your inner world, the outer world adjusts and reflects that energy. As you walk the path of authenticity, you will notice that your life is filled with a deep sense of fulfillment. It is not just a fleeting feeling, but a solid inner peace, that peace that comes from knowing for certain that you are exactly where you need to be. When you choose yourself and align with your truth, the universe seems to collaborate with you. The right opportunities present themselves smoothly, the people you need appear at the perfect moment, and everything seems to flow as if all of existence is adjusting to help you fulfill your purpose. What once seemed unattainable is now within your reach, as if the very fabric of life has been reconfigured around you. However, it is important to remember that this does not mean the path will always be easy or free of difficulties. In fact, some of the greatest challenges are likely to arise just when you decide to start living authentically. The world, so accustomed to the version of you that used to yield to others' expectations, may resist your transformation. It is as if, by changing, your commitment and determination are being tested. External pressures may become stronger, doubts may arise with intensity, and the fear of reverting to old habits or familiar patterns may be tempting. It is in those moments of resistance where your true power lies. Every time you reaffirm your decision to live according to your truth, every time you choose your inner peace over external demands, you are reinforcing your connection to your true self. The key to overcoming those moments of resistance is to stand firm, even when uncertainty overwhelms you. It is completely natural to feel fear when leaving behind the known, especially when you are aware that what you are leaving no longer benefits you. But you must remember a fundamental truth. Every time you choose to stay in a place or situation that no longer brings you joy, you are closing the door to something new and transformative. The fear of change is a sign that you are on the threshold of a great transformation. It is a reminder that by letting go of the old, you make space for the new. Carl Jung, a great psychologist and thinker, taught us that true change never occurs without resistance. However, that resistance should not be seen as a sign that you are taking the wrong path, but rather as proof that you are moving forward. It is the natural friction between the old and the new, between who you were and who you are becoming. This tension is a necessary part of the growth process, because only through it can we free ourselves from what no longer serves us and make space for what is meant to be. One of the most effective ways to overcome this resistance is through deep self-reflection. Ask yourself important questions. What do I truly value? What is most important to me in this life? What kind of life do I want to create for myself? When you take the time to reflect and gain clarity about your values and goals, it becomes much easier to make decisions that align with them. And as you begin to act in accordance with that clarity, the people and circumstances that resonate with that same energy will start to come into your life. The world, in some way, begins to respond to your inner alignment. It is a fascinating phenomenon, as if the universe is waiting for you to align so that everything fits perfectly into place. It is essential to remember that you are not alone on this journey of transformation. Although at first the process of choosing yourself may seem like a lonely path, you are actually opening a door that, over time, will attract the right people to you. Those people who will support you, celebrate you, and walk alongside you without demanding that you change to fit into their lives. These people will accept you as you are, because they too have made the decision to live aligned with their own truth. The moment you reach this point of alignment, something within you will change forever. Suddenly, life will stop feeling like a constant struggle. The decisions that once seemed overwhelming and full of uncertainty will begin to arise with clarity and confidence. Most importantly, you will discover an inner peace that will no longer depend on external circumstances. As Jung taught us, true peace can only arise from within. This peace is not a momentary state. It is a lasting quality that is obtained by honoring your own needs, respecting your boundaries, and living in complete alignment with your values. However, this peace is not just a personal gift, but something you can share with the world. When you decide to live authentically, you become a source of inspiration for those who are still searching for their own path. Your courage and authenticity act as a beacon of light for those who need a model of bravery to make their own decisions. In this process of self-discovery and transformation, you not only change your life, but you initiate a domino effect that profoundly impacts the people around you. Take a moment to imagine what your life could be like if you decided to free yourself from everything that no longer serves you. How would you feel if you could let go of the relationships that drain you, the commitments that do not resonate with your soul, and the expectations you never wanted to fulfill? Visualize how freedom, lightness, and clarity take over you. This is not a distant and unattainable dream, but a completely real possibility within your reach. The only thing it requires is the willingness to choose yourself. When you make the decision to follow this path, you realize that you are not losing anything by letting go of what no longer aligns with your deepest being. On the contrary, you are creating space for what truly matters. You are building a life that not only makes sense, but fills you with purpose and joy. And that, without a doubt, is a transformation worth experiencing. This is the gift that Jung wanted us all to discover. True transformation begins the moment we stop seeking something outside of ourselves that has always been within. It is at that precise moment when we decide to live from a place of authenticity, embracing who we truly are instead of who we were conditioned to be. It is at that point of surrender to our purest essence that the magic of our own existence is revealed. When this happens, something extraordinary begins to unfold in your life. You start to feel truly alive, finally free from the expectations of others. You no longer feel trapped by the rigid demands of a society that constantly tells you who you should be, how you should behave, what to do and what not to do to be considered successful. Instead, you begin to tune into your inner voice, the one that has always been there, whispering to you and guiding you towards something greater. It invites you to look beyond what you know, to see beyond your fears and limitations, to recognize that something much grander awaits you if only you have the courage to pursue it. This feeling of liberation is invaluable. It's as if a gigantic weight has been lifted from your shoulders, allowing you to breathe deeply and freely, perhaps for the first time in a long time. However, achieving this freedom requires great courage. You need to confront not only the external pressures that have shaped your life up to now, but also your own internal fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs that have been holding back your growth. Jung reminded us that our greatest enemy does not reside outside, but within ourselves. It is that persistent voice that constantly asks, "What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? What if I disappoint others?" But here is where the truth lies that many still fail to grasp. That voice is not your true essence. It is simply the echo of past experiences, the reflection of beliefs and conditioning that you have absorbed throughout your life. Every time you choose to confront that voice, every time you act despite the fear, you are dismantling those limiting beliefs piece by piece and making room for something new, something liberating to emerge. This is the real power of choosing yourself. When you make this decision, you begin to free yourself from those invisible chains that have kept you trapped. As you move along this path, something remarkable begins to happen. The things that once seemed essential, like the endless pursuit of validation, the need to prove your worth, and the constant drive to please others start to lose their hold over you. You no longer feel the need to compete, compare, or conform. Instead, you discover a deep sense of fulfillment simply by being who you are. Nothing more, nothing less. When you connect with your authenticity, you begin to uncover the true power that resides within you. This power has nothing to do with controlling others, nor with dominating or imposing force. It is an energy that comes from a deep connection with your inner self, that part of you that has always known who you are and what you need to be happy. This power is quiet, but unstoppable, because when you align with your truth, when you stand firm in who you are, no matter what happens around you, nothing can divert you from your path. The most beautiful thing about this process is that it not only transforms your life, but also influences the lives of others. By choosing yourself, you become a living example of authenticity without having to preach or convince anyone. Your presence naturally inspires others to reflect on their own beliefs, to question what limits them, and to delve into their own truth. This is a concept that Carl Jung understood deeply. Every time a person opts for authenticity, they not only change their own life, but also contribute to a collective shift in global consciousness. Because when we live aligned with our most genuine self, our relationships transform, our communities transform, and even the world begins to change around us. However, it is important for you to understand that this journey is not linear. There will be moments when you feel full of strength and completely connected to yourself. However, there will also be days when doubt will creep into your mind, when uncertainty clouds your vision, and you will question everything. These moments of doubt should not be seen as failures, but as an essential part of the process. Jung viewed these moments as opportunities to deepen your connection with yourself, to reflect, learn, and grow. Every challenge, every obstacle you face, is an invitation to let go of the old and step into something greater, something more authentic. And when those moments of uncertainty come, it is crucial that you remember a fundamental truth. You are not alone on this journey. Although at first the path to authenticity may seem lonely, as you continue to move forward, you will inevitably find people, situations, and resources that will support you. The more you embrace yourself, the more you will attract those who resonate with your energy and vibration. And when this happens, the journey stops being a struggle, because it becomes a return home, to your inner home, to what you truly are. Sometimes a conversation, a book, or even a video like this can appear just when you need it the most. They are not mere coincidences, but signs from the universe, reminders that you are on the right path. Every decision you have made up to this moment, every challenge you have overcome, has brought you here, to this precise instant. Although the future may seem uncertain, there is one undeniable thing. As long as you continue to choose yourself, you will be building a life that is truly worth living. The greatest gift you can give yourself is to be unconditionally yourself. Not the version that others expect you to be, nor the one you have created to fit into their vision of the world, but your purest self, the true you that exists when no one else is watching. Carl Jung taught that the true work of life is not to seek outside of ourselves what we need, but to unravel the deep mysteries that already reside within each of us. And when you finally make the conscious decision to embrace your true essence, you come to a profound realization. Everything you have been searching for has always been within you. This is a call to action. Life is too short to keep seeking external validation, to ignore your own desires, and to silence your dreams in order to meet the expectations of others. The moment to take that first step towards your authenticity is now. It is time to confront your fears, to acknowledge the shadows that limit you, and to listen to the gentle whispers of your intuition. The moment to reconnect with your true self is right in front of you. Because when you choose to be authentic, you not only transform your life, but you also change the world around you. Your energy rises, your perspective expands, and your mere presence begins to inspire those who cross your path. Now, what comes next after all this? It is time to reflect on what you have just heard. Ask yourself powerful questions. What aspects of my life are truly aligned with my authentic self? What can I let go of to live in a more genuine way? What is preventing me from embracing the person I was always meant to be? Remember that every small step counts. Every choice you make in favor of your true self is a victory. And these victories, though small, lead you to a fuller and more authentic life. The most valuable thing you should remember is that you are not alone on this journey. This space, this community, and this channel exist to remind you of your incredible potential and to accompany you every step of your self-discovery process. If this message has touched something within you, don't leave it here. Let its impact grow and extend beyond yourself. Share this video with someone who might need it, someone who is seeking answers, facing their own challenges, or who needs this moment of clarity that perhaps only you can offer them. Every time you share, comment, or like, you help this message reach more people, people who, like you, are in search of a deeper connection with their true essence. Imagine what we can achieve together, a community of individuals committed to living from a place of authenticity, courage, and self-acceptance. Think about the collective impact we can generate, and how each of us, by being true to ourselves, can contribute to real change in the world. The union of all these small actions can make a significant difference. And now, I want to know about you. What part of this message touched your heart? What thoughts or emotions did it awaken in you? Let me know in the comments. Also, I want to know, what steps are you willing to take today to choose yourself, to honor your true essence? Every word you share has a power beyond what you can imagine. It matters not only to me, but to all those who are going through the same path, seeking clarity and their own truth. Your words can be the spark that ignites something deep in another person. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do it now. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any messages like this. Together, we can bring this reflection to many more corners and remind each person that the greatest power we possess lies in the simple yet profound act of choosing to be who we truly are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, for opening your mind and your heart. But above all, thank you for being part of this movement. This is a collective awakening, a journey of self-discovery that unites us beyond what we can express in words. Never lose sight of the fact that you are not alone. Change starts within you, and the world needs more people who have the courage to embrace their authenticity. See you in the next video, and in the meantime, always keep in mind, life truly begins the moment you make the decision to choose yourself.